Welcome to today's session. In today's session, we are going to see DevOps, understand what is DevOps, and we are going to see how many opportunities available in current market and what kind of skill set you need to acquire to be a DevOps engineer. So DevOps is nothing but two teams working together, development and operations. DevOps is a culture within your organization. This is not just two teams working together, but it's a culture, and it takes some time in organization to imbibe that culture. We will see forward how it works. Is DevOps the right career path for you in 2023? We will see what it needs to know, and I will try to answer all of your questions that you have. So why DevOps? So there are two parts in every organization. One is development, where developer works together to develop a product. They write a code, they write the test cases, and they expect you as operations to deploy it on your systems or production servers. Now there have been friction between these two teams because development is eager to introduce new tools, new versions. They don't care about availability. I would not say care about, but they always thrive for recent versions of the tools or application they use in their day-to-day life. While operations is more towards stability, they expect the security, they have to maintain high availability, sometimes 99.99% uptime for your product. If your product goes down, that may impact organizational revenue, and then operation teams come in picture. Why it goes down? We need to find out. So operations team usually reluctant to go over any recent version of the application, but they ask to verify that it's working, it's stable, it's secure, and it will not be impacting any production uptime. So to avoid this friction, we want to introduce DevOps. Now this is typical scenario in every organization. There are three parts. One is the developers, another one is the IT operations, and the last one is the business. If there is a friction between these units, you will see it cause inefficiency and it impact very badly. So if you see the figures, there are almost 41% of development budget is extra because of poor requirements. 40% implementation end up getting rework. There might be chances of failure in your production because of the new release if you do not apply DevOps practices. Right? And there are most of the times bugs get caught in production environment rather than early environments in dev and staging environments. So we need to work over automation so that any change made in your products should go through all your environments to the production and with automated testing so that we can avoid last minute bug finding in production. This is the challenge. How we address delivery challenge. So there are development teams, operation teams, and there is a gap. We know there is a friction between those. So we introduce DevOps. DevOps works over continuous deployment, continuous testing, continuous integration to address that part. Now there is a gap between requirements gathering and development. To address that issue, we are introducing something agile methodology where you gather the requirements continuously from your client, provide it to the development team, build the code, get that build run, and provide a demo and get the acceptance from your client. If there is any requirement change, that will be quickly addressed into next iterations. So this gap between requirements and development teams is bridged by agile methodology, while in your development and operation it is bridged by DevOps. This is DevOps infinity loop. I believe everybody is familiar with this one. So you plan it in your environment, it goes to your code, you build that application, you compile the application, that application binary has been tested, and then it goes to the release. Release is scheduled on particular date. Release manager usually makes sure that everything has been tested, verified, and no bug expected. If there is a downtime expected, what could be work over that part. And once release is designed, it get deployed in your production environment. And then it goes to operations. Operations has some of monitors in place so that if you deploy your application in production, is there any issue in production, is there any bug, any crashes, any revenue impact, everything has been logged and monitored using monitor applications. And if anything observed, it goes in your backlog, that will be again scheduled in your development, and this cycle goes on continuously, and that's where we call it as an infinity loop. When we configure that infinity loop, the most important thing is automation. Automate everything in your organization. Whatever you see any manual work you are doing, try to automate. The very first thing is infrastructure as a code, or IAC. If you are provisioning your infrastructure, maybe in data centers, maybe VMwares, or maybe OpenStack or cloud, it's better to automate that provisioning. There are multiple tools available in market to achieve that. In DevOps or in organizations, you have development environment, staging environment, production environment, and there might be n number of servers in every environment or clusters in those environments. It is very difficult to create that environments manually. Better automate it. You may take help of Shape, Puppet, Terraform, Ansible, whatever tool you are familiar with, and in that environment automation should be achieved. And it has a value. So what value? It is optimizing your resources, accelerating your delivery time, and the measure are deployment rates, number of deployments happen, and mean time to resolution, MTTR. Once we automate our provisioning, the next part is integration. It is continuous integration. Each and every line that committed by development into your source repository, it should get built immediately. So your code is compiled, test cases is run against that binary or that executable or library, whatever it is, and you ensure that your build has been stable, no issues, no crashes, no failures, right? And it has to be tested continuously. It is always better to fail your builds in development environment multiple times. Doesn't matter. It's always better to fail and know the issues and bugs in your application rather than failing it into the production environment. The issues we are addressing here is delivery delays, low quality or no working code, incomplete solution, reworks, and continuous integration provides you the value, frequent integration, higher quality, and repeatability. The next one is continuous delivery. So you have your infrastructure automation in place, you are running your continuous integration. Continuous integration builds your binary. We usually call it as artifact. You store that artifact somewhere in maybe your repository, and once that is ready, you need to deploy it in various environments. The first, it goes to your development environment. Second one, if development environment is successful, it goes to your staging environment. Development and staging environment is using as a test bed. So run all the stress testing, systems testing, integration testing, whatever you have in place, run against your code in staging or development environment, and then it is pushed into production. and this happens continuously. The only thing is from staging to production, you might be having a manual switch. So your release manager or production manager usually approves that release to go in production, and then it is pushed into the production. But otherwise, everything has been seamlessly deployed in your environments. The issues we are addressing here is slow delivery cadence, limited predictability, complexity while deploying. So you may go through different stages to deploy your application. Try to avoid all that. Try to automate as much as possible. There are multiple tools available, and we will go through those tool settings soon. What is the value? So consistency, accelerated deployment, repeatability, and avoiding human error. So those are the values we are gaining from this continuous delivery. I am just taking this slide as an example. So if any developer, that will be polled by your Jenkins. So if you see this person in this one, that is a Jenkins logo. So Jenkins is a continuous integration and continuous delivery tool. It is open source and very famous. So Jenkins, what Jenkins does is it polls your GitHub repository and then run the build and create the installation. Right now we are considering it is a Node.js application, JavaScript application, and we are compiling it using npm. Once your installer is ready, your test cases will be run against that installer, making sure that it's working and it is functional. No issues found in that. And once that is done, you upload that artifact into your Artifactory. There are multiple Artifactories available. Two famous are Artifactory and Nexus. And those will be uploaded as a snapshot Artifactory. Snapshot means your binary or your code is still in development. And once that is done, there is a quality check. So quality check usually checks the quality of the code. No memory leakages, no security issues, no vulnerabilities. Everything has been checked against your binary, your jar, or your application. Once that has been successful, it says it's passed, then it is promoted to your ready to release. So when that is ready to release, your snapshot artifact is converted into releases. And once it is ready to release, it has been pushed into your environment. It may be QA environment, it may be production environment, and your code is available to general public. And this whole cycle keeps on continuously, and that's why we call it as a continuous integration as well as continuous deployment. And we are, for this example, we are using Jenkins to automate all this cycle. Let's talk about DevOps market. DevOps has been in demand right now. It is highly sought after skill in market. If you see the market value, it is expected to reach to 57.9 billion by 2030. And growing rate CAGR is 24.2% during this one. This is a very high rate. There are huge market opportunities going forward till 2030. This is the prediction, and lot of DevOps engineers are required in market. We know the market requirement. Then what is the skill set we need to have as a DevOps engineer? So very first thing is understanding Linux fundamentals. Almost everybody know about Windows, Mac. They might be having Windows and Mac as desktop operating system, but when it comes to the server, nobody beat Linux. So we need to understand Linux fundamentals, its file system, commands, so that you will be familiar with Linux, and you can run those applications over Linux, or you can monitor Linux servers for its statistics and logs and everything. Also, it is very important to know about the web development fundamentals. It is not necessary to be an expert in web development or not necessary to be expert in Java coding, but if you have that background, that would be really advantageous. Then we also need to know about continuous management or configuration tools. So some are Puppet, Shape, Ansible. We will be going for Ansible in this course. So we will be using Ansible to configure our servers with whatever the applications we are working with. And then there are continuous integration. There are multiple tools again: Jenkins, TeamCity, GitHub, Bamboo, Circle CI, Travis. Many tools are available in market. Jenkins is a famous. Jenkins is the open source, and we will be working with Jenkins. We will be also working with GitHub Actions. Then continuous testing. You won't be writing any test code here, but you should know how to run the test cases, how to automate the test case running, maybe through Jenkins or maybe whatever CI integration tool you are using. And you also need to know the Docker. So Docker is the container technology. Continuous monitoring. There are again multiple tools. One is for monitoring and couple for logging. For monitoring, Prometheus, Datadog, New Relic, those are very famous. We will be working with Prometheus, which is open source, as well as we will be working with New Relic. New Relic does provide you free licenses for your training and testing, so we will be utilizing that. And for logging part, we have ELK and Splunk. We will be working with ELK, that is Elasticsearch, Logstacks, and Kibana. We will be setting up ELK for our application, and we will be pushing application logs into Elasticsearch and run the query against it. Understanding CI/CD process, understand IaaS, infrastructure as a code, and create the models to solve the deployment problems. We will be using Ansible, Terraform for IaaS, infrastructure as a code, and you will be familiar with provisioning infrastructure using these tools. DevOps roadmap. So we can go through DevOps roadmap. Let me open this one, and this is really a wonderful slide. So you can see all the required tools in a glance. So what it provides is, it is providing you the existing stack of tools or technologies. Those are necessary for DevOps. So for example, you should be learning a programming language, any one of that. It is not necessary to be an expert, but if you know, that's the advantage. Then you should be familiar with operating system, maybe Windows, Linux, Unix. Then learn to live in a terminal. So you should be knowing the terminal commands, process commands, system commands, and check the performance, configuration of the networking. All those through terminal for Linux or Unix. Then having scripting knowledge is really good advantage. Be familiar with the editors and lot of those things. Then version control, VCS, hosting, that is third party provides you Git repository, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, any one of those. And then understand how the network works, web server works, what is reverse proxy, what is firewall, what is power proxy. We will be getting familiar with all these technologies. Then go for containers. Containers is the Docker we will be working with. And then get familiar with at least one cloud provider, be it AWS, be it Azure or Google, DigitalOcean. Those are providing similar services. The name of the services and the way it is configured might be different. But if you get familiar with any one of these technologies, that will help you to get familiar with other ones too. Then understand networking, security, protocols, FTP, SSH, DNS. It is very necessary. These are the basic fundamentals, and we will be going through it as our course progress. Alright, then there is serverless technology. So we have Lambda, API, gateway. When we call Lambda in AWS, in GCP it is called as a functions, Azure call is a functions, and so on. Be familiar with infrastructure provisioning, so AWS CDK, CloudFormation, Pulumi, or Terraform. AWS CDK and CloudFormation are very specific to AWS, but if you want to work with variety of cloud providers or virtual machines or OpenStack, then Terraform will be the best choice. We are going through Terraform. We are creating our Terraform files, templates, and we will be provisioning our infrastructure automatically using Terraform. And that's under infrastructure provisioning. Once your infrastructure is ready, your servers are ready, it has been deployed, it's up and accessible, then comes the configuration management. So for example, you created a EC2 instance or a virtual server, and now you want to deploy your application over that server. That's the configuration management. So there are multiple tools again, Ansible, say Puppet. We will be getting familiar with Ansible. And then learn CI/CD tools. So whatever we have learned till today, we want to automate all those things. So there are multiple tools again, Azure Devops, TeamCity, Circle CI, Jenkins. We will be working with Jenkins and GitHub Actions. And then secret management, and then infrastructure monitoring. Monitoring requires Prometheus, Grafana, Datadog, New Relic. So we will be working with Prometheus, Grafana, and New Relic in this section. And then logs management, we will be working with Elasticstack. There are again multiple tools available in market, and every organization has its own choice. So if someone is using Elasticstack doesn't mean other is using that. So other might be using Splunk or something else for their log management. So being familiar with one of that application log management should be good enough. Then go for container orchestration, and here comes the Kubernetes. Kubernetes is the upcoming tool in the market. So every DevOps engineer now require the skill for Docker container management, container orchestrator, and Kubernetes is one of them. It's very famous. We will be seeing how deployment works over Kubernetes, and all basic Kubernetes services. Then there would be GitOps, and understand service mesh to handle the traffic within your Kubernetes cluster, and then cloud design patterns. So cloud design patterns revolve around cloud architecture or your system architecture. So high availability, data management, design, log management, monitoring, billing optimization, security, everything you need to consider when you architect a system. And that comes under cloud design patterns. And that's not the end. Keep learning. And DevOps is a learning journey, and keep yourself updated all the time. Well, we have gone through what is a DevOps, the tools and technologies required for it, and now this is a time to check where do you want to start your DevOps journey. So we will be offering the most comprehensive training in the market today. We cover almost all the technologies required for different segments, for logging, for monitoring, for clustering, for cluster provisioning, infrastructure automation, CI/CD. We are covering each and entire gambit in this course. And this course is very practical, lab-oriented training. We will be building a big project, and you will be starting that project by milestones, step by step. As you learn the technology, that will be going to be a part of your project, and at the end you will see a big project you have been working over, you have been building over our training duration. And the best of all is you are doing all these things, you are learning, you are creating labs, and you are working on all the sessions from your home or office, wherever it's suitable for you. And this program is entirely online. Who can benefit from DevOps? Whoever want to enter into DevOps is the beneficiary of this training. We start from scratch. We start from Linux basics, fundamentals to the advanced technologies till Kubernetes, cloud, and everything. So we make sure that you are ready to go in the market. You have knowledge of each and everything that tools required for DevOps. If you are already in IT and if you are working as software developer, if you are a cloud engineer, it's you if you know the DevOps, it will make your life easy. Right? You get the advantage of whatever background you are from and then move into DevOps. If you check market, what are the salaries offered for DevOps engineer, you will find variable range. Talent.com is saying that it is around 150,000 per year. If you check on Glassdoor, it is 93,899 per year plus bonus and all other things. But on average, I believe a DevOps engineer can earn from maybe 60, 70,000 to 140,000. It's that range really varies. So it depends on your knowledge, your learning, and your experience, how you showcase it. If you have any questions, just revert back on samir@sedbiz.com or info@sedbiz.com. My contact is 647-677-4055. If you are having any questions or any doubts, or if you want more information about the course, feel free to contact us. Sedbiz also has a community. We have created it over WhatsApp. You will be part of our Sedbiz community. Throw the questions that you have. If you are appearing for interview, we will provide you support. If you find any difficult question or any question that is difficult to answer in an interview, or you don't know about the technology they were asked into your interview, we will be always helping you. We will go through the question. We will find how to answer it. We will do some hands-on over that technology, and we will help you to prepare for the interviews. We will also help you to prepare for your resumes. We have sample resumes you can go through and be ready for the market. And if you ask me, market is a very high demand for DevOps engineers. So if you prepare very well, I'm sure you will be landing in your job. And Sedbiz has been instrumental in DevOps and Kubernetes since long. We have conducted many batches till today, and we have so many success stories to share with you. If you have any question or want to know more about Sedbiz or our DevOps offerings, please contact us. I will be more than happy to help you out. Thank you very much for joining today's session, and hope to see you in the session soon. Thank you very much.